just like we alluded to, looking at the symmetry in this movement and ultimately following the feedback of the wobbler, we're going to also use the feedback of the wobbler to determine our rotation pattern. So the first part was weight shifting, where in all functional movements we have about 40 to 60% weight shifting and 40 to 60% rotation. So initially we want to make sure we're getting the symmetry in that weight shifting pattern. So the next part is to get the symmetry in the rotational pattern. So all we're going to do is keep the arms down at the sides, again, focusing on that postural position, keeping the abdominals engaged, right? Bending the knees, slight hip hinge. You want to keep your knees in line with the second toe. Now, in terms of your foot position, you don't have to keep your feet perfectly straight ahead. You can turn them out a little bit. You want to find a comfortable position with your foot placement. Your feet want to be on the lateral aspect of the wobbler, right? As far as you can get them, because the wobbler is designed to turn on its side. So if you don't get it turned onto its side, whenever you're weight shifting during the wobbler movement, it won't turn as well. So as we work on getting into the rotational pattern, we're going to focus on keeping the shoulder blades back. We want to bend those hips and bend those knees, keep the head up and the chest up, and we're going to bring those shoulders back and forth in this motion and rotate side to side. Now, a lot of times what we'll see is that people will have a one-side dominant pattern, especially if they've had an injury or even if they're not ambidextrous. And most people, less than like 1% of the population, are ambidextrous. So we see an issue with somebody favoring one side of the body with this very, very frequently. So as they go into this rotational pattern, they typically end up doing the one-legged dance and they turn to one side only. So it allows us to help them self-correct and go back into this symmetrical rotational position. This is something that we'll actually see with runners and walkers as well, where sometimes they're only even swinging one arm, right? Or they're only using one arm to run and drive that pattern. And so the wobbler helps us correct that. And we want to make sure that we get these patterns down first before we start moving into the more complicated patterns.